What do you think it's going to take for other members of Congress to take notice to an event like this within sight of the Capitol building, to take notice to what's being said here, for other members of Congress to actually do something about the war?
I think members of Congress are taking notice. They're taking notice of the election results, which was a clear message from the American people that we want out of Iraq. And they'll take notice of a march like this with a lot of people. And I hope that the message they take from this is that we want effective action by Congress to end the war, and that means using the power of the purse.
Do you think it's going to happen?
I don't know. It should. Whether it will, we'll see. I mean, I think it's very clear that President Bush is listening to nobody, and he's simply determined that he won't, quote unquote, lose Iraq on his watch, and he's going to keep the war going until his successor takes office. And I think that's very clear, and he's going to keep the American boys dying and everything going on until the next president comes into office, because he doesn't want to be the guy who lost Iraq. He wants to be able to blame the next guy. And if we want to end the war before then, we have to do something legally binding, like limit the use of the funding of any funds to protecting the American troops and to withdrawing them on a mandated quick timetable.
What do you think it would take for Bush to listen, or is he beyond the point of listening?
I think he's beyond the point of listening. I think what it will take is Congress saying, enough already, we're using our constitutional power, and we're saying that any funds provided can only be used to withdraw the troops quickly on a stated timetable mandated by law and to protect them while they're there.
2005 had the Downing Street Memo congressional hearing in the basement of the Capitol building. With Democrats in power, is there any...
Democrats weren't in power then.
Well, in power now.
Oh, yeah.
With them in power, I mean, is there any talk of doing any type of investigation?
Oh, they're going to be... Sure, we're going to investigate. I mean, for one thing, the Senate Intelligence Committee is going to complete the investigation that Senator Roberts, at the instructions of Vice President Cheney, kept saying is going to happen, but made sure it didn't happen. And that is the so-called intelligence failure. Was it an intelligence failure, or was it deliberate lies fed to the American people, which obviously it was? There's going to be a lot of investigations as to what really happened, but that won't end the war. I mean, it may settle a responsibility, which is important. It's important for government officials to be accountable. We're going to have investigations into all the other violations of law and the Constitution, the warrantless wiretapping, the kidnapping of people off American streets and sending them without any judicial process to other countries to be tortured, the habeas corpus, etc. But the only thing that will, in fact, force an end to the war will be Congress using its power of the purse.
How much have you seen things change in the last 6 years?
Oh, well, nobody takes anything this president says as the truth anymore. Nobody believes anything. I mean, someone asked me a few minutes ago what comment I had on Secretary of Defense Rice's comment that people at this demonstration are giving aid and comfort to the enemy. And I said, well, since everything emanating from the White House and the Secretary of Defense for the last 5 years, we now know were lies, why should we pay any attention to another lie? And I can say something like that because everybody knows today that these people are liars and that the truth rarely escapes their lips.
There's a lot of people around 9/11 truth people. Is there any talk of looking into some of the unanswered questions about 9/11, some of the things that were kind of left?
I don't know. That's a completely separate issue, and
is it something
I wouldn't mix it up with the war.
Is it something that people in Congress don't want to touch, or is it just that
truth of the matter is, I don't think most people in Congress think there's anything to touch. I think most people think that we know what happened there, and that there is not a serious move. There's not a serious opinion in Congress that there's much to investigate there. There's a lot to investigate about how we got into the war, how they lied our way into the war, et cetera, and what we're doing there. But 9/11 is viewed as pretty much known.
Nadler for president. He's one of the best public servants we have.
I'd like to have the People's Weekly World.
Yeah.